Module 4, The Power of Mind Focus. Lesson 1, The Phenomena of Mind. The human mind is the most mysterious phenomena that human beings have come to experience. It is full of apparatus, faculties, capacities, and secret powers that are unbeknownst to us. Since the dawn of civilization, human beings have invented method after method for tapping into these powers. Prophets, saints, sages, and dervishes have invented and taught us wondrous meditations to tap into our vast mysterious natures. Yet, in this early part of the 21st century, we are living stressed out and miserable lives. We have turned most of the guidance that has come to us into religions and dogmas. Instead of learning the essence of all that has been taught to invoke the natural powers of the mind, we have erected false objects of worship, and we worship them, worried and anxietied. For the most part, we have forgotten the joy that comes from being in the game of life. Let alone tapping into our natural powers, we have considered them supernatural and unattainable, and for the most part, resigned ourselves from ever becoming competent at them. We have made enlightenment into a magical phenomenon that is out of reach. We have turned away from using our birthright capacity for intuition. No wonder we often fall to the moods of confusion and lack insight into the matters of life. Relying on calculative Cartesian intelligence in the moods of anxiety and confusion, we miss the opportunity for tapping into an unlimited reservoir of insight, which is the depth of our own being. This may sound difficult, but with some practice, it is actually not. In this module, we will teach you how to tap into that reservoir and the science that is behind the process. If you make the effort, you will surely succeed. If you notice carefully, you will see easily that some kind of intelligence is running us that makes us sing, work, and care about everything that we care about. This intelligence is activated in us moment to moment. It is that which is making me say all this, and that which is making you listen to all this. Or rather, that which is saying all this, and that which is listening to all this. That is something more intelligent than all the intelligence of all humans combined, past and present. Enlightenment begins when the mind fully understands that the power that made it dwells within it. But we are not aware of the presence of this intelligence within us. In the discourses of religions and non-religions, philosophies and dogmas, we have forgotten what a sophisticated piece of machinery we are. We have left money on the table, proverbially speaking. We live our lives in an anxious manner, running from one desire to another, from one goal to another, from one thought to another, without ever really paying attention to what we really want, what we really need, and what really matters. Our desires are never fulfilled. No one will ever love us like we want them to, and there is no clear and fixed way of living a satisfying life. The ground of being is unknowable by design. Then one day we must die. Most people's lives pass them by without any conscious effort to bring about a profound upgrade in this mechanical existence we call life. So, the short time we have on this journey should matter a great deal to us, right? Whereas philosophical thinking, such as presented in the first three modules, helps us see the contexts and moods necessary for inventing a new life, an unmanaged anxiety state ravages our potential and keeps us from becoming editors of our stories. But it needs not be this way. It is possible to tap into this deep inner intelligence and experience freedom from habits rooted deeply in the body and the mind. Your success in life pretty much depends on your mood about life. You already know this from our previous conversations. But knowing this alone does not help till you experience some freedom from your automatic reactive habit patterns. For example, unwittingly, you may find your hand in the cookie jar again and then again. You know yourself to be of great potential and great mind, but you may find yourself bickering and reacting to all the same nonsense that you want to leave behind. You know social media and entertainment waste time, but there you are in front of your screen, aimlessly lounged for hours and hours again. We must interrupt these patterns by calling on dormant powers in our minds that will give a great degree of command and control over what you do and how you live. Now, in order to do this, we may need you to perform a small surgery of a kind on yourself. This surgery does not require gruesome knives, scissors, or medical equipment, but simply your breath and your willingness to observe it. Our mind is something that can invent and then reinvent human reality, and the programs for enhancing the human mind are viable and doable. In this module, I will teach you a technique for unlocking the hidden powers of the mind and dealing with anxiety and breaking nasty habit patterns and developing a mind capable of greatest perceptions. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about my background and where I learned these skills that enabled me to bring this conversation to you. Growing up, I was introduced to certain techniques in the Sufi tradition, such as wird, qawwali, and muraqabah, that could put your mind to an elated state. Experiencing that kind of a state during youth was a frequent occurrence for me. Later in life, I pursued rigorous studies in various meditative disciplines over a number of years. I studied Tibetan Zen and met and received blessings from one of the four heads of the tradition, the Honorable Garshan Rinpoche. Then life brought me to meet an American mystic and philosopher, Dr. James Daniel McManus, who had studied with the Japanese Zen master Oshima Sueo, a scholar who taught at Rice University. I studied with James for many years and we became close friends. He taught me a deep light based meditation system called the Ontology of Light. James also introduced me to the work of the old Chinese master Lao Tzu, and to date, his book Tao Te Ching remains as a source of inspiration for me. For a period of time, I also studied with Sadhguru. Then, a few years later, I came to know a Vipassana retreat organized by a Burmese man, S.N. Goenka. There I learned what is today my core technique for focusing the mind and opening perception for seeing reality as it is. I have practiced Vipassana for many years and have attended several silent meditation retreats. I profoundly thank all my teachers. From these masters, I have learned many secrets of the mind and being, and then realized some on my own. I have pursued meditation only for my own awakening. I claim no mastery of meditation. It was not in my intended career path, that I would teach this to others. However, as the COVID 19 epidemic hit the earth, I found many entrepreneurs and friends in my care losing balance and optimism. I felt an urgent need of introducing a technique that would help people to cope with changes, develop serenity, and gain mastery over themselves and their environments. So, I created a simple technique that can rewire the brain circuitry in a shortest time possible. On March 23rd of this year, I initiated twice a day of practice for my own community that is still ongoing. My mother challenged me to include only words from the English language and leave all Arabic, Aramaic, Tibetan, Pali, Urdu, Persian, and Sanskrit out of the technique. That is done primarily to keep people from having a devotional effect or resistance. I do not want people to be devoted to me or to some name of the technique. Names of techniques, courses, teachers, or institutions will not save you. I want people to be devoted to exploring and expanding their own full potentials. For your convenience, I have named it the Mind Focus Technique, or MFT in a short form. Mind focus is not just about sitting around and marveling at our own consciousness, but practicing a direct and extremely potent method for reconfiguring the underlying biology and perceptive capacity of the mind. We, at the present time, urgently need this technique to deal with spreading mental illnesses like anxiety, depression, hurry, confusion, and nihilism in ourselves and others. In this technique, we will ask you to stay completely still and observe your breath and sensations which exist in your physical reality as your mind knows it. We will narrow the area of awareness so your mind can get very precise and very sharp. You see, your intellect is like a knife. You want your knife to be very sharp, or it cannot cut anything. So, mind focus is a direct way of sharpening the knife of intellect. In this technique, you will learn to observe the sensations in your body with the help of your breath. We will give exact and detailed instructions and recommend certain practices that will enhance the efficacy of this technique. So, without further ado, let's begin. Please grab a comfortable spot and close your eyes. Relax your body. From the tip of your toes to the top of your head, part by part, relax your body. Now, bring your attention to the entrance of your nostrils and the area above your upper lip, and observe any sensations that you could observe in this small triangular area. You may start with observing the touch of the air with your incoming breath and the outgoing breath at the entrance of your nostrils and the area above your upper lip. Observe the full length of your breath. Incoming breath as it comes in, comes in, comes in, and it stops. And with the outgoing breath as it goes out, goes out, goes out, and it stops. And repeat the cycle. Keep all your attention, moment by moment, in this small triangular area. If your mind wanders, drifts to thought by thought, idea to idea, from one plan to another, from one strategy to another, from past to the future, that is perfectly acceptable. This is the nature of the mind. There is nothing wrong with you. With practice and patience, cultivate your mind. May all sentient beings experience love. May all sentient beings experience kindness. May all sentient beings experience enlightenment. Enlightenment. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And when you're ready, slowly, gently, take your time and please open your eyes.